Hello, everyone. Marie Burns here, Certified Financial Planner with Mind, Money, Motion. And I'm continuing my discussion of various chapters in my Before Financial Checklist book. Today, I'd like to share a little bit of information with you about the Financial Power of Attorney document. If you think about yours, do you know if your Financial Power of Attorney document is considered a springing or an immediate authorization? Or do you know what your bank or retirement account custodian would require if your financial power of attorney agent needed to transact on your account for you? Those two questions and their answers can cause a lot of confusion. So let's see if we can clarify some of the terminology. So hopefully you can better understand what you do have in place and then decide if you need to have some conversation with your estate planning attorney or maybe the financial institutions as needed. In the United States, that copy of the legal document that you hopefully have in place to name someone that you want to act on your behalf on financial matters when you are unable may be titled by many different names. The heading might say durable power of attorney or durable, in parentheses, financial power of attorney, or it might say general durable power of attorney, or it might say durable general power of attorney. I've also seen general power of attorney, or most recently, durable power of attorney for management of property and personal affairs, or some version of those. I currently see all of those on my clients' documents that they had drafted by their estate planning attorney here in Arizona. And the confusing part to people is that the title may not even have the word financial in the heading of the document at all. So whatever your document is called, you are naming someone, often referred to as an agent or an attorney, in fact, who you decided you want to make financial decisions, as well as specifying what those actions are that they can take if you are unable. That document also specifies when your authorization goes into effect. So it may only apply at the time that you are deemed incapacitated, which often requires some medical confirmation in writing by usually two physicians. That is referred to as a springing power, since it really only springs into action when you become incapacitated and not before that. Alternatively, you may state in your document that your agent authorization applies immediately, and you give permission for that person to act on your behalf starting right now. In that case, no incapacity is required, and no further documentation would be needed by a physician. Whichever one you have, the agent's power ends at your death. So upon death, then the trustee or the executor, or sometimes called personal representative, would become the one that makes the decisions. So without re-looking at your document, a lot of times we might not know or even remember which type of financial power of attorney we have in place. Is it springing or is it immediate? There's no right or wrong, but there are definitely pros and cons of each one. And there's convenience and trust factors to think about, especially as we get older. So it makes for a very good and important discussion to be guided by your estate planning attorney to help you make an informed decision as to which one is best for you, springing or immediate. So then whichever version of the financial power of attorney you have, it's also good to understand that each financial institution will have its own process if the time comes that the agent needs to take action on your behalf. And unfortunately, you won't know what's required until you ask. And remember that even after you ask, they may change those requirements over time. Some banks, for example, will accept just a copy of your financial power of attorney document, and that's all they require. Others will only accept that document if it's less than 3, or I've seen 5 years old. I've seen both. Others will also require their own form to be completed, either in addition or in place of the legal document. And then still others may require a notary stamp or a signature guarantee to be added to the process. And oftentimes at investment and insurance companies, there may also be a legal department that needs to review what you've submitted before they deem it's approved and in place. If you have an immediate financial power of attorney document, I am a fan of seeing if you can get it on file at some or even all of your financial institutions in advance. That way there's less delay, paperwork required at the time that an agent is trying to act on your behalf. He or she will appreciate less stress at that moment by having it already in place. Now, we have to acknowledge that some financial institutions will only allow it to be added at the time it's going to be exercised. You cannot add it in advance. So again, you have to ask in order to even find that out. And as always, whenever you name someone as a power of attorney, whether it's for finances or for healthcare, be sure you are providing them, the agent, with a copy of the document. It's really an opportune time to talk with them further about your wishes and then answer any questions that they might have. You know, I attend as a participant and then also volunteer teach at a senior outreach program here in the Phoenix area. And one additional thought that I learned from my audience is something that you might want to consider too. They suggest traveling with what they call a to-go bag. It might actually be a folder or a zipper pouch, something that you bring along on your travels, and it holds important information like a copy of your financial power of attorney document, or maybe your healthcare directives documents, or both. Maybe a medication list might be helpful. And ICE, I-C-E, in case of emergency, is a great contact list of people that may need to be notified. I know this may all feel a bit like a belt and suspenders approach to making sure that your wishes are known. But documents are no good if they aren't available when they're needed. So I encourage you to take a minute, make sure your wishes are current, and then make sure they're accessible.